You're now listening to the 1130 podcast. Enjoy the show. Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is. Welcome back, everyone, to the 1130 podcast. What's goody, everybody doing out there, man? It's Wednesday. We made it back here to the podcast. Good morning to everyone who's tuning in on YouTube, man. Good morning to everyone, man. It's not 7:30, it's 11:30. You know what time it is. It's time for the podcast. We're going to get into it. Thank everyone who's joining me on YouTube. If you're new to the podcast, go ahead, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, like, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I said, man, it's time for the podcast. It's 1130. Got an amazing guest, as you can see, joining me this week, man. A man of many talents, man. A man of many talents. I'm always excited. Mr. Q is going to be joining me here on the podcast. He's an ambassador. He's an author. He's a life coach. He's an educator, you guys, and also he's an amputee. He's going to be joining me here on the podcast to chop it up, telling his story, and just have fun here on the podcast this week. Before we do, shout out my guest who was on last week, Shalom. Appreciate you coming through on the show. Speaking of the show, we're going to get into it, man. We ain't going to waste no more time. Mr. Q, what's going on with you? My guy, how's it going?
Howdy, peace and blessings, brothers and sisters out there. Thank you a lot, Dre, for having me on the show. Looking forward to jumping into this, and man, I'm beautiful. I'm having a wonderful time and pushing on.
Okay, that's what's up, man. I'm excited that you are having a wonderful time like I am. We here on the podcast. We're gonna chop it up, man. I definitely appreciate you reaching out and, like I said, taking the invite and coming here on the podcast. And once I was just reading you, I was like, man, you're definitely a no-brainer. Because definitely, like I said, I like shining the spotlight on my guests and people who just have amazing stories. So, how life treating you though?
Life is treating me good. I tell you what, this impending recession got me a little bit antsy. But otherwise, you take it one day at a time. And I was talking to my mother the other morning, and I said, yeah, I gotta act like that little squirrel that you used to read me that story when I was a kid. You know, that squirrel putting away his nuts while everybody else playing around, having a good time. I gotta stock up for that wintry day. So that's what I'm in the process of doing, I suppose.
Okay. Hey, you gotta stock up, man.
How you getting along?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm doing wonderful here each and every week on the podcast. I'm blessed, man. I'm doing blessed.
I just want to say congratulations on the success of the podcast. I see it growing every single week, and so I'm happy to play a small part in that growth, hopefully.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone, man, who's tuning in and definitely who support the 1130 podcast. Well, it's about you, man. Tell everyone about you, man. I always let my guests allow my guests to tell the world and everyone about yourself. So,
all right. Well, I'll give you a kind of a little story here. You guys, you interrupt me whenever you need to. So, my name is Eric Quander, and I was born in Washington D.C. in 1970. Was raised in Richmond, Virginia, so at heart I'm just a good old country boy, and from the South. And I attended James Madison University, where I studied English and theater and anthropology. I dropped out of college, I guess it would have been my junior year, almost my senior year, as I was working a lot as an actor. And wasn't doing very well at school anyway, and so I figured one of my professors says, well, you're making more money as an actor and we're trying to teach you how to be an actor. So why don't you go out and, do that? So that's what I did. I left school, moved out west. Seattle was the first place I moved to. Got involved in Seattle theater, was very active there for several years. Was a host on the Radio Disney Network, the Prince Eric Show. I did that for a year or so. And then I got some representation down here in Los Angeles, was seeing a girl down here in Los Angeles, decided to come on down here and give my get my foot into the show business there with film and television, because primarily I'd been a stage actor prior to that. Became a little disenchanted with the industry, have had success up and down, have had a wonderful career, but I considered myself retiring at 40, and I had a child. I was in the middle of a marriage and decided to move out, leave show business, leave all that stuff behind, and move out to the desert and be a cowboy. And so I did that for a long while. And in 2018, I lost my leg. And that was a radical change for me in my life, an adjustment. So I embraced it very quickly and knew that I had to carry on for my wife and my child, and have been living life as an amputee since 2018. So in that time, I have a construction company. I have a small jojoba farm, and I'm a very active and vocal advocate in the disability community in general, and with a special focus on lower limb amputees. And most recently, I am a lead advocate with the Amputee Coalition, meaning that I like to provide advice and guidance and share my experience, most importantly, with new amputees and amputees that are finding it hard to carry on with life. So I'm very happy to be working with the Amputee Coalition. And more recently than that, I am the Global Mobility Ambassador for PENTA Medical Recycling. PENTA Medical Recycling is an organization that provides prosthetics to amputees in need in second and third world countries. My first assignment as an ambassador with this organization will take place in Thailand. So I will be going to Thailand in the next several weeks, and I'll be there for quite a while, establishing and setting the foundation for this service that will provide prosthetics to amputees. And my future goal is to take this operation to Ghana, Africa, and I look to do that perhaps next year.
Hey man, I dig it. I definitely dig it. We're gonna get into everything that you was just saying.
Man.
But first, I gotta mention you said you were born in Washington D.C. What part of D.C. where you were born?
Well, I was born in Southeast.
Southeast.
My family, the Quanders, we are America's oldest Black family, and we're headquartered there in Alexandria, Virginia. But all of our relatives are through the Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. We have Quander Road, Quander Elementary School. We founded the first Black Catholic Church in Washington, D.C. And Quanders have played have been a very important thread in the tapestry of America. And so I'm very proud of my family's legacy in this nation. My great-grandmother founded the AKAs, and I'm happy to be a part of that legacy and to continue the Quander name into the 22nd century and beyond.
Hey, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I was born and raised here in Washington, D.C. Southeast is definitely where I was born and raised. And that's real cool. That's real cool.
My mother lives still in Northeast, man.
She lives in Northeast right now?
Yeah, right across from Rock Creek Baptist Church over there.
Oh, okay.
Everybody know Miss Quander.
Hey, that's what's up. That is dopely. That's dope. How did you handle the up and downs in showbiz?
A lot of drugs and women. That's how I handled it. No. How did I handle it? Well, I come from a fairly strong, I suppose, conservative background. And, I was talking to my mother a couple weeks ago, and I had to give her some thanks because she's seen me go like this, have a life like this. And my mother's just a Southern, Black little Southern woman, country Christian woman. And she would always encourage me and know, Eric, which is what she calls me, of course, Eric, you're doing all this foolishness. And my mother's very proud of the things that I've accomplished. She says, but all that wild stuff you're doing, you're going to come on back eventually to your roots, to the foundation in which what has been planted in you. And she was right. So I all of that mishigosh and partying and living a wild life, that was just a thing that I did. That wasn't like me. You know what I mean? That wasn't my essence. My essence, I'm much closer to that now at 52 than I was at 22. So that's all been a part of the journey. And I've had some great, great times and great nights in my life. And I feel very blessed and fortunate. I've known some incredible women in my life that have played wonderful roles. I have some great male friends as well and business associates. So, you handle it, man, by staying centered and maintaining a connection to your God self. And I've always had that, always, no matter what I was doing, I had my foundation that I would retreat to and know, okay, what's reality and what's not, and what do you really want out of life? And if it's not going to get me closer to that goal, it wasn't very difficult for me to kind of push it aside, for better or for worse. That's a good and a bad trait to have, because it's not hard for me to, next.
Hey, that's cool. I can dig it. You also talk about how you amputee and you lost your leg in 2018. How was that process for you of losing your leg? Just a whole lot of ups and downs.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am considering this in my meditations and prayers daily. I must say that my amputation has been one of the greatest things that happened in my life to me. It's been an incredible door opener. It made me reconsider different aspects of my life. It made me radically change my approach and perception of things, which is a good thing. In my instance, it was a good thing. And, it is what it is, man. That leg ain't gonna grow back. So as soon as you accept that, when I was in high school, one of the most defining moments of my life occurred when I was playing football for John Marshall High School. And our Coach Brayboy, I was on the JV team. And it was one summer day, we were practicing on the field behind Virginia Union University. Everybody in Richmond will know what I mean. And we were practicing on that field, and you know how there's a railroad track down there. And part of our workout was running up and down that field, up and down that hill. Now I was a little, fat kid there, man. And I'll just never forget, first day of full equipment, full pads. We were running up and down that hill, man. I thought I was going to give up. I thought, ain't no way I'm going to make it up this hill one more time. Ain't no way. And I'll never forget, Coach Brayboy probably weighed all of 160 pounds. And he was standing up on that hill, and I was looking up at him through my football helmet face mask. And he said, Quander, I'm going to give it to you straight, boy. You fat, you ain't that good looking, and you ain't too bright. Football might be the only goddamn thing you have. So you're going to make your mind up right here and right now. Either you're going to be a fat loser or you're going to be a superstar. What's it going to be, boy? And in that moment, I decided I'd always be a superstar. So I got to thank Coach Brayboy for that. So now, that philosophy has been with me all my life since that day. So at 42, when I get my leg taken off, first thing I'm going to think about is Coach Brayboy. Quander, you going to be a fucking loser? Is this going to knock you down? Is this going to make you not get back up? Or are you going to manifest the bad motherfucker you've been telling people you are? Decision was easy.
I dig that so much, man. For real. I had a wonderful lady on a couple of months ago, Plump Queen, who also came on, who has an amputee, who lost her arm in a car accident, and just how so many people who lose their limbs or so, and just tell stories how, man, this is the best thing that happened to you.
Best thing ever happened. And I know that sister. She's a good buddy of mine.
Yes. Awesome. And as far as me, I it's a blessing because I have a disability, and like I said, I tell my story multiple times here on the podcast. Me being in a wheelchair, I couldn't imagine that, but also taking what life throw at you and dealt with and just run with it. Like it ain't gonna change. Like you said, it ain't gonna go back. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But maybe I get up out this chair and walk one day. Maybe I won't, but until that day comes or not, I'm just gonna continue being the best version of myself that God has placed me to be and stuff. So,
Amen. And well, you're keying in and touching upon something that's so very important. Uh, People, I always say, you got to start with identifying a connection to whatever that higher thing is you want to call it, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever the hell it is for you. Don't matter to me. You better make it a primary thing in your life. This is going out to every individual that is within the sound of my voice. You better make that a top priority as far as establishing a connection and recognizing your relationship in that you're part of in that relationship. And if you can approach that with an earnest and sincere heart, a lot of things in life will certainly look different. I can say that much. It'll look different, and it might not be as bad as you think. So in those dark times, you have that intestinal fortitude and spiritual connection. Now, I'm not one of these guys that's going to tell you this higher power going to be doing something for you. I don't think it works that way. I think you better get off your ass and do it yourself.
Exactly.
It's like you can't be faith without action is nothing, right? Isn't that what they say in the good book there? Yes. So you got to have some action to match with your faith. And see, I'm a man that's about action. I like to get things done and set goals and make things happen and accomplish them and look back proudly and know that I manifested and did whatever it took for me to get what I said I wanted to get. Now, I ain't going to hurt nobody. Going to try my best not to lie, and ain't going to take from nobody.
Mm-hmm.
With those three principles, you'd be all right.
Hey, you definitely will. You definitely will, man. I dig it. You said you're also an ambassador for PENTA, and also, helping, and connecting people with accessible needs and throughout the disability community and stuff like that. How do you get involved in that? I mean,
all right. Well, that's great. So when I lost my leg, coming from an arts background, the arts were a conduit by which I could express myself and deal with some of the emotions of being an amputee and figuring out what's going to happen. So I start to catalog and chronicle my experience and thoughts, and my articles get some attention from Amplitude magazine right in that first year. So within, like, I'd say probably the first 11 months of me being an amputee, I was getting articles published in major limb loss magazines. And so people were starting to respond, and they were saying, hey, man, your articles are doing very, very well. I kind of took a break from that, stood back after about a year, focused on a lot of acting and getting myself back into the show business. And that brought me to the attention of a lot of different organizations. Now, I'd set it in my goal, as quite as it had been kept, of taking a message into the wider world, not just here in America. Mm-hmm. And I came across this company, PENTA Medical Recycling, was very impressed with what they did. And I approached them. Again, I don't have a problem with picking up the phone, writing out an email, contacting people. If I come across them and they doing something that I like, then I pick up the phone. It's been that way since I was a young actor. I'll pick up the phone and call. I'll walk in. I'll go. I believe in going. I believe in meeting people, shaking your hand. I want to see you, man. I want to touch you. I want to feel you so you can see the kind of man that I am, because I know ain't too many motherfuckers like me. So I know when you see me, you going to be impressed. I know that. So I just got to get to you. So I contacted that company and told them, hey, I really dig what you're doing. I've been thinking about going to Thailand. I'd like to help. That's another thing. When people often approach life from a place of lack. I got an article about that. The lack is a delusion. Okay. I don't have enough. I ain't got this, so I can't do that. I don't know this person, so I can't do this. That's all bullshit and anchors to keep you where you are. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you can disband that and abandon that idea of lack and know that the universe is abundant for you, then things that you want will kind of just fall into your lap. So I told my wife about maybe a month and a half to, 3 months ago, I guess it was maybe, baby, we're moving to fucking Thailand. How? Don't know. Why? Just the Lord telling me you got to go to Thailand. That man, look at the cost of living there. California taxes killing the damn business. I said, I want to get away for a while. So I just put that in there. And when you speak things, that's why I tell people, you got to be careful what you talk because the universe is listening.
Yes, it
so
is.
So the universe say to me, okay, motherfucker, let's see what you're going to do. So I contacted that company and, all right, Mr. Q, we really dig you. We like what you're saying. You want to be our representative in Thailand? Hell yeah. All right, let's do it. That's how I became an ambassador for Thailand.
Ain't that
I just picked up the phone, bro. That's the long and short of the answer. I picked up the phone. I had a body of work that they could refer to and see that, okay, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He ain't dumb. He done accomplished things. He ain't no online weirdo just talking a whole lot of shit and can't back it up. Anything I say, I like to say, anything I tell you, you can look it up and verify it, guaranteed. Because I ain't gonna say it if you can't. So they came across it, man, and now I'll be going to Thailand, spreading with a very specific mission that we can get into. But that's how I became an ambassador for this organization and why I'm going to Thailand next month. I have a mission. Now, not only am I going to provide prosthetics to amputees in need, but I'm really going as well to set the foundation for a system where amputees and those that are disabled around the world can communicate and share our experiences. That is what my main goal is. See, I want us in the disability community to recognize that you're not alone and that you have power, first of all, and that you have economic power, you have social power, and that the days of the disabled being in the shadows and being seen but not heard are over. So this is a new movement. This is a new time, man. We're going to the future, and I can see how big it's going to be. We ain't got nowhere near where it's going to be. I believe and envision that in the not too distant future, amputees will be on your newscast, doing your news, hosting TV shows, starring in movies that have nothing to do with them being an amputee or disabled. It's about the human experience, and their amputee or disability is just another shade in their menagerie of colors of being a human being. It don't define who we are. It's just a part of who we are.
Mm-hmm. And everybody, yes, and everybody who has a disability, whether it's amputee or not, everyone has that story. So that's really dope that you have a mission and you're going over to Thailand for the first time.
Yes, sir. It's gonna be my first time over there.
So that's actually dope. So like also you said, you got to speak things into existence, and you got their attention. You definitely got their attention. And that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. We need more people like you in the world. Speaking of attention, though, and being an amputee, how did you handle any negative attention? Because as being having a disability or disabled, you definitely get a whole lot of attention, more than you might want, though. But how did you maybe handle some attention?
Well, I never have had a bad experience being an amputee. I got to be quite frank and honest with you. I never have had it. Okay. Some people don't even know I'm an amputee until I tell them or somebody else tells them. I run a construction company, so I'm out doing it. I got men around me all day. So, I ain't got no fucking time to be limping around and fucking around. I got to, I'm the boss man, so I got to take care of things. And, but with that in mind, it's kind of like they say about being black and stuff. So like, I know we live in a system of racism and oppression, blah, 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 blah. But I got to say, I've never really experienced that. Why? I'm too fucking glorious, bro, to take time to deal with that stuff. I don't even see it. It don't come it don't enter my world. So I can't relate to some of that stuff. You see what I'm saying? For example, how you come sometimes cars people disabled or whatever. Maybe they were pre-amputee. They had a relationship, romantic, involved relationship. But my wife or husband left me because I came an amputee. Yeah, that's bullshit. They ain't got shit to do. You being an amputee, they're gonna leave you probably anyway, unless you was just making that money and they won't stick around. They ain't got nothing to do with it. It's about your spirit. It's about your energy. You dig what I mean? So, in relation to what you've asked me, my spirit and energy are such wonderful shields for me against negativity that if it is in my presence, I probably don't recognize it because I'm doing my shit. If somebody has a negative thing, that's their thing. That's their thing. You know what I mean? If anything, I'll try to, if anything, the universe will help me key into it and I'll utilize it to empower myself.
Hey, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, man. I thought I asked that question because, you get people who would just stare at you and stuff like that. And see, you have a prosthetic leg. So 9 times out of 10, a person won't see it more so like I said, I had Plump Queen on. It was more, visible and stuff. And how certain people with disabilities, is not visible or whatever. But yeah, definitely that's definitely a story or a conversation to be had though. But
well, Dre, I want to say something about that real quick.
Okay.
The Lord prepared me in so many ways to be an amputee. Let me tell you why. As I was saying earlier, I was a little fat kid growing up, right?
Yeah.
So when you're a little fat kid, you've learned very, very early. If you don't want to be picked on and suckered and bullied and all that shit, you better make sure you have skills and talent and abilities that make you outshine. So I may have been the fat kid, but I was also the cute kid. I was also the smart kid. I was also the talented kid. So my adjectives were always numerous. I was always a leader, no matter what my size is going to be. So you got that. Now the universe says, let's see if we can really give you an opportunity and put you in a place where you're going to really demonstrate if you mean what you say. If you really think you're as great as you tell people you are. So let's take your leg away. My light ain't shine. If anything, I want people to look at me. Shit. Yeah, look at my leg. Come on, that's right. You got a question? Come on up to me. Mm-hmm. And now let's talk about how we gonna make money and make some shit bill now. After you done got over that bullshit, now let's talk about what's real. There you go.
Hey, it's all about the mindset for real, man. It's all about the mindset and how you look at things, though. Yo, I definitely dig it, man. Yo, Mr. Q, I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast, man. This has been a smooth vibe, man, for real. But you guys, man, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, you guys, and when we come back on the other side, we got the WTF moment, we got the hot seat. We gonna keep chopping it up with Mr. Q here on the 1130 podcast. Don't move, you guys. You're listening, you're watching to the 1130 podcast. You dig?
Hands sanitized. 1 million faces protected. 400,000 rail cars disinfected. We're humming right along, keeping you safe when you ride Metro.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kenneth Stones, aka Coffee Weaston.
This your boy D.O.E. Good Brother Bowl.
And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man, you tuning in to 11:30 podcast. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills approved.
Yo, we back here on the 11:30 podcast. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the commercial break, man. I have my awesome guest, Mr. Q, author, life coach, man, ambassador, amputee, chopping it up here with me this Wednesday here on the 11:30 podcast. Before we move on, man, speaking of podcasts, you have an awesome podcast, man. Tell the world about the podcast, man, where they can tune in and where they can catch it at.
Okay. I am co-host of the Amputee podcast, and I co-host that with Chef T, wonderful sister who is a lower limb amputee as well. I think she's a right leg amputee. And we wanted to do this show. We do our show on Wednesdays at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. We wanted to do a show because I wasn't seeing those with Black amputees. Now, I'm very committed to Black Americans, okay? I'm very committed to our development as a community, economically, educationally, on all different fronts. Black people in America are my primary thing that I care about. And with that in mind, I recognize that we didn't really have a voice, it seemed. And even when you go into the disabled community at large, you are sometimes searching high and low for that Black American voice. You know, the language that we speak and the experiences that we share that people outside of our culture have no fucking clue about. Okay. The way that we gonna communicate, the way I can talk to you and you know exactly what the fuck I mean if I say something in a certain cadence or a certain pitch and tone. You know whether or not to be offended. You know whether or not, you know exactly what I mean, you know? So with that in mind, I wanted to create a platform. Again, it is ascribes to my commitment to building platforms where people can just talk, man, just share your shit, man, and just talk. That's why we started the Amputee podcast. We named it that because, like we were talking about prior to the commercial break, you know, a lot of people, when they think of disabled, they think of, oh, they can't do this, so their life is nothing. No, we're ample. As I am, I'm enough.
Yeah,
As I am, I'm enough, right? Mm-hmm. So we wanted to make sure we could talk to amputees. And when we started the podcast, brother, I was with my Afrocentric self thinking, oh, this is for Black folks that are amputees. Mm-hmm. No, our audience is we got people from all over the world, I think. I definitely can say we have people that are not Black and that are from other countries around the world that listen to our podcast and gain inspiration, encouragement, and empowerment from it. And we don't do them but shoot the shit, talk. You know, I sometimes get a little nasty. I want to know about your sex and stuff, and I want to know what's going on with your relationships and what you're doing. And we have a lot of amputees, especially, that are alone. And without love and without hope, I'm trying to use words. See, because I'm very careful about the words I use. So my perception and what they have expressed to me is that oftentimes they find themselves in a dark, lonely place without hope. I wanted our podcast to just be a little crack in the door to where you could start seeing a little hope.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
and we seem to be doing it. Yeah, we seem to be doing it.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. You're giving people some hope in the world, man. Because a lot of people who, you know, who are amputees and who have a disability don't have the same energy like yourself or like me. You know, they're real down or they don't, you know, have that confidence within themselves to pursue anything. So they feel they already projecting themselves already because they like, oh man, you know, I'm this way and that way, so I won't have a chance to succeed. So no, you got to look at it a different way. Like you said, the perception of it, man.
And also to those people, usually whatever you have that you wish to offer, there's someone out there that wants it. But they can't get to it because you ain't putting it out there. You see, so everyone has something of value to contribute to the world. I believe that sincerely. And so sometimes it just takes the right motivators to help and encourage and bring that out. If I can serve in that purpose, then hallelujah. That's a good thing to be, I think.
Yes, it is. It is. Sure is. What inspires you?
My boy, my son, he's 9 years old, Turtle, Ashoka, and I call him Turtle. And everybody call him Turtle. And he's my inspiration. I really, on the day that he was born, I really kind of stopped doing things for myself. And I know that that's somewhat unhealthy, but I don't care. I live my life for my boy. Everything is for him. Okay. I mean, my time is done. You know what I mean? This is icing on the cake, in my opinion. Now, I understand that my true life's mission is to pave a path for the enlightened one, my son, who has come on this earth. So now that I understand that, and I understand that everything I do really has to do with that, it's very easy for me. It's very simple. I like it. That's easy. I can do that.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. I definitely would take that advice also too, because in a couple of months I will also be a dad. So,
amen, brother.
Hey, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the podcast. Mr. Q, you got an autobiography that's called "Where the Walls Are Reflecting of One-Legged Black Man in the White Man's Wilderness." Tell everyone about it where they can catch it at.
Okay. Well, it's still a book in progress, y'all. It's Where the Walls Are, and I call it the wilderness of the white man because I'm approaching it from a Black American man's perspective. All right, and what that means is that there are psychological walls and spiritual walls that, being in this society, we have had to erect for protection and for preservation. But now walls have a double meaning. Not only do they keep things out, but also they can hold things in and keep them captive. So in my life, I'm about keying into and becoming more aware of where the walls are in my life and what I can do to dismantle those walls that stop my growth and secure the walls that protect me, my spirit, my family, my community, you dig? And just becoming aware of, everything that we see ain't everything that there is, man. Everything that we see ain't everywhere there is. So that is a book that will come. I've had to stop writing that book because I am now turning my attention to complete the first in a series of travel guides for amputees and the disabled community. So, along with my ambassadorship, a part of what I will be doing in Thailand is compiling this guide that will encourage other disabled and amputees to travel, see the world. Thailand is a wonderful country for those here in America that say, I'd like to do something a little different, but money, I want to be concerned about the cost of living. Thailand is a wonderful place where you can have a great adventure for a little bit of money and have a really great time. And it's accessible. If you're an amputee, if you're in a wheelchair, if you're blind, we can accommodate your experience in Thailand. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that. And that's the next book actually that's coming out, is the Definitive Amputee's Guide to Thailand by Mr. Q.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. You got a whole lot of projects, man. And like you said, a man of many talents, man. So I dig it. I definitely dig it. But you guys, we're going to move on here on the podcast. We're going to have some fun. It's time, you guys, for the 11:30 podcast hot seat, you guys. All right, Mr. Q, man. It's time for the hot seat here on the podcast. I got 6 questions for you, and we're gonna roll with it. You ready?
That's right.
All right. What is one ability that you believe everyone should possess?
One ability that everyone should possess.
That everybody should possess.
The ability to be quiet and listen.
Okay. Why?
Oftentimes, even in dialogue with my wife, I express that when 2 people are talking at the same time, that means nothing is being heard. So even in my own life, in our home, and then out in the world, I encourage people to sometimes just be quiet and just listen.
Okay, I can dig it. Too much talking, not enough listening. That's why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Right.
Okay. All right. You have any regrets? If so, what are they?
I regret that I have not been a better son to my mother. Even though my mother says I'm a great son, on my inside, there's much more that I want to exhibit and demonstrate and exercise to express to my mother the gratitude I have for the life that she's given me. I do regret that, but I ain't done yet. She ain't dead or nothing, so I still got maybe a little bit more time, but she's getting older.
I dig it though. I definitely like that. You can definitely make that happen. What's the first thing you do after a long day of work?
Smoke a blunt.
Okay, I'm right along with you.
What's the first thing I do in the morning? Smoke a blunt. What's the first thing I do at lunch? Smoke a blunt.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay, what's one important thing that you must have besides your bed at night?
My wife.
Your wife. Okay. My fiance asked this question to me. We was like, some water, or a fan, because you can't sleep without the fan. I can't sleep in the heat or whatever like that. So,
I'm working on this article. I was talking to my wife about it today. I ain't gonna tell y'all what it's about. It's a little bit too risque, but I'll just say it this way: my wife is my water. She cools me down when I'm too hot and heats me up when I'm too cold. Amen.
All right. All right. I gotta steal that one from you, man. I gotta learn that one.
That'll give you some pimp points there, brother.
Yeah. Okay. What did you find most difficult about growing up?
Not getting all the girls that I wanted. I didn't like that, but it was difficult. I kind of had a Leave It to Beaver kind of life, bro. So it's like, I didn't like having no like adversity and shit, What was difficult about growing up? Oh, well, my mother and father were very hard workers. And so sometimes like on Christmases and holidays, when like my cousins would have their moms and dads with them, my parents be working. So my mother might not come. I might not see my mother on Christmas morning until 7:00 at night. Why? She worked for the government. She got shit to do, man. So I might not see her till 7:00 Christmas night. And I learned how to be independent early. Now, I was lucky in that my immediate family, my grandmother, my aunts and uncles, cousins, they were so protective and coddling of me that it didn't like fuck me up too bad, because I always had my cousins and my grandma and grandpa around and everything. So I didn't miss that, but that played a role in my relationship to my parents as I got older. I'm a very independent spirit.
Okay.
So that's something that was difficult and that I'm still managing now, having closeness, being close and communicative. That's why I am so doting on my son, to let him know you're secure, you have a foundation, you have someone you can always talk to, your mother and father love you very much, that kind of thing. Okay. So I guess that would be difficult, but honestly, man, it won't that hard. Grow up, man. There are people starving in the fucking world. You know what I mean? There are kids that get beat every day. That wasn't my experience. I had toys. I had, love. I didn't want for nothing, so I had a pretty good life.
Yeah, I dig it. Okay. If you can only teach 3 things to the world, what would it be?
I would teach the 3 things that I would teach the world would be faith, the value. So the thing I would teach them would be the value of faith, courage, and wisdom in all things that you do in life.
Okay. I dig that. I'm right along with you. Okay. Cool. Mr. Q, I appreciate you.
The hot seat.
Getting in the hot seat, answer some questions for me. And I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast. Before we wrap it up and roll, each and every week, you guys, man, I got to deliver the WTF moment. So we ain't going to leave until we do that because it's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. All right, Mr. Q. Each and every week, I always share a WTF moment, whether it's something heard, seen, saw, whatever the case may be. You have a WTF moment you would like to share? Allow my guest to go first.
A WTF moment. I'm still getting over the fact that Kevin Samuels dead. What the fuck, man? They're kind of weird, wild and interesting to see. Yeah. And I had a what the F moment yesterday when I was listening to Michi X talk about her relationship with Dr. Boyce Watkins. I found that was very interesting and telling, and I'm going to do a little bit more research. So those, I guess, were my kind of WTF moments.
Yeah. A whole lot of people had a whole lot of comments on that old Kevin Samuels stuff.
Yeah.
And all the women was like, oh, yeah, especially the video with Vivica A. Fox when she came out and, said, hey, look at he dead. So I thought that was
very interesting. Right. I think there's an interesting energy surrounding, especially the dynamics between black men and black women. I'm much more of a traditionalist, and I have no problem in saying that. A lot of this new shit I don't understand, and that's okay. I'm trying to open my heart for understanding. Oh, here's a WTF moment I had. My entire position on transsexuals changed. I'm proud to say. I now accept, and nobody gives a damn, but I feel it's a nice place of growth for me. I can accept that a guy might be born, say that, hey, I'm a woman, get the sex change operation. Now, you'd asked me that a week ago. I said, oh, that motherfucker crazy as hell, man. But I came across this one tranny that, and I've had trans friends too. I'm in show business, man. I mean, I know people, so I've had trans friends. I still thought they were crazy, but I still can be their friend. Mm-hmm. And, but this guy, man, he's a genius, bro. And he's a tranny. I mean, he's a genius, legit genius, bro. And I told my wife, I says, babe, I like this motherfucker. I mean, tranny or not, I like this guy. I mean, I like this woman. I have to say woman, I like this person. And I said, so I don't think that all trannies are crazy. To me, that's a WTF moment.
Okay, I think that's the biggest WTF moment I think I've had.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say what I believe is that, hey man, do whatever makes you happy, bro. If that makes you happy, it makes you happy. Because this guy, you cannot deny his genius, you cannot deny her aptitude, and you cannot deny the accomplishments that she's made to change the fucking world, the course of humanity. This trans woman has done. So she got my respect, yo.
Hey, that's what's up. That's awesome. That's real awesome. WTF, man, all the way. You guys, my WTF moment, man, I ain't got nothing on yours, man. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we all heard the story that went down in Buffalo, New York, with the security guard who was shot, and multiple others, 9 other people who were shot at the supermarket. But a GoFundMe account has been put up for the security guard, and come to find out, hackers, are all over the place and stuff like that. And the GoFundMe has raised over like $50,000 or whatnot. And somehow the son of the security guard has got alerted and found out that scammers were trying to take the $40,000 though, and I thought that was a big WTF moment though. I mean, the dude
Wow.
just was standing up and protecting everyone in the supermarket, doing his job, and lost his life. And these people are probably trying to raise money for a funeral or whatnot. I don't know, but you get scammers who try to come in, and they said the person was trying to donate $4,000, but when they went to go initially click on the profile, they had swapped out some pictures or whatnot, some scammer type bull crap. So like scammers are definitely working over
Wow.
overtime, and I definitely talked about how my Instagram got hacked too. So I was like, yo,
Oh,
these people are definitely serious with this, man. It's crazy.
I tell
WTF
you
all the
what,
way.
shit like that just befuddles me. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, people take time and that's what they do at the time that they are given on this planet is to
Mhm.
hack people. And to me, those people are demonstrative of people that don't believe in a hereafter and don't believe that,
Nah,
there's karma in this world and shit like that. I don't know. I don't get it, man.
yeah,
Hey,
they have no life, man. No
I
life.
tell you what. Hey, I want to say something also. Another WTF moment. All that mishigash about behind the BLM and that $6 million house and all that they done purchased out here in California. I never was pro BLM. Didn't like it. Didn't like it from the onset. And when I said that, a lot of people didn't like that I would say that. But I'm about the nuclear black family. I'm about a black man, black woman, black children. I'm about procreation. I do not care if someone's homosexual or whatever. That's your business, man. Do your thing, bro, and I will support you in doing it. But I'd be damned if I was going to stand behind an organization that was trying to demonize the black man and take active steps to not listen and hear the words of heterosexual black men. So that was a WTF moment, and I hope those bastards get everything they got coming to them.
Okay. WTF, man. Big WTF moments all the way this week. Yo, Mr. Q, I appreciate you joining me this week here
Thank
on
you, brother. I
the
appreciate
1130
being here.
podcast. No problem. Before you go, man, shout out to the questions. Anything you'd like to say?
Well, again, thank you so much, Dre, for having me on the show, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my message and visions. And folks, you can find out anything you kind of want to know about me by going to my website, www.heismrq.com, and that's MRQ. He is Mr. Q. And there you can find out about my writings. I think on tomorrow, Tuesday, press regarding my trip to Thailand will start to come out. And then June 1st, it'll be everywhere. And if you would like to support my efforts in Thailand and my efforts to bring about greater accessibility and inclusion of the disability communities into entertainment and society, into media, you can visit my site, and there are conduits by which you can demonstrate your support. Let me just put it that way. And you can support almost anything, man. I'm the only black owner of a jojoba farm here in the United States. You can't really see it, but the Black Lotus Jojoba Farm here in 29 Palms, California. We sell jojoba oil. So if you want to learn more about the benefits of jojoba oil and the benefits of it to your skin, you go and visit my site and you can find information about that as well. So those are the things that I'm mainly about. But man, like I said, man, I'm just a little fat country boy from Virginia, man. Send me an email, find me on Facebook, write me, and I'll communicate with you. I mean, how hard is it?
Hey, that's what's up, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot, man, for you coming through here, taking the invite here on the 1130 podcast. For everyone, like you said, man, get at him. His website, he is Mr. Q. All the links will be down below for his podcast, for the website and everything, man. For real, it was definitely a dope vibe chatting with you, and I wish you a safe trip, man. You got to come back here on the podcast and tell me how everything went, man, in Thailand, man.
You can count on it, my friend. You'll count on it. And I'll be posting updates of my trip to Thailand over the next several months, so people will be able to find it.
Cool.
Yep.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Appreciate it once again. Mr. Q, sit tight, man. We're going to chop it up after the show, man. But everyone who's tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in here this week on the 1130 podcast. It was definitely a dope vibe. Just to let you guys know, this Wednesday, actually tonight, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the season finale of Commission. So we're going to be on Buzzing with Marlo, my guy, Warren Marlo, Blackheart, Sabi Yeti. We're going to be chopping it up, everything wrestling. So definitely tune in for that. But yeah, man, this was definitely a dope one. Before I go, you know what time it is. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. We up to 1,200 subscribers. I appreciate it a lot, man. For real. Thank you, guys. And also, the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, all new episode. This coming Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central. I got some amazing guests that will be coming up in the next coming week. So definitely tune in if you love wrestling like I do. But for real, man, this was definitely a dope one. Mr. Q, I appreciate it once again, my guy. For real.
Amen, brother.
No problem. Yo, for everyone out there, man, stay blessed, stay safe, give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? For myself, Dre, a.k.a. Dreonwheels, and my dope guest, Mr. Q, man. Enjoy you guys the rest of your day, man, and everything. See you guys next week, man. I'm out.